Most traders don't know one single successful trader personally. You may be the only one in your family that's trading, you may be the only one in your friend group, or you may be the only one that's having decent results. But from what I found is most people don't know a single successful trader that they can go to ask questions, to really learn about what it takes or what you need to do to be successful, what it even looks like, how you even trade on a day-to-day basis. So as a result, most traders are going to go to the internet and go to different sites, go to YouTube for the most part, to learn about what successfully trading looks like, to learn about what's the magic strategy you need to use. And the issue is that a lot of sites, YouTube included, is built to be a entertainment platform instead of an education platform. And as a result, you're going to have a lot of clickbait videos. You're going to have a lot of videos that are not particularly teaching you the best advice on how to get to your financial dreams when it comes to trading. So you're going to follow this bad advice, and then you're going to become frustrated thinking about, man, why aren't I successful? I'm following exactly what these people are saying, but it's all built on entertainment and not education. And that's where the RD Trades steps in. Look, I was on Wall Street doing investment banking at a top firm. And during my time there, I had the privilege to be able to meet, befriend, and talk to so many traders at the top hedge funds on Wall Street. I was able to figure out exactly how they trade, exactly, what type of systems that they like to use. I was able to learn exactly how hedge funds, the top of the top, how they're able to beat the market consistently year after year after year. And of course, before investment banking, before my career on Wall Street, I was a personal trader myself. I was a retail trader myself, trading a strategy, trading like everybody else trades. But I was actually able to pass my funded account. And I was wondering to myself, okay, the success I've seen in trading is cool, but how can I take what I've now learned that the very top traders in the world are doing and be able to dumb that down, simplify it, and give it to the retail market on how they should actually start trading, how the big boys trade, how the big Wall Street funds trade, how the mega successful retail traders trade. How can I be able to give this to them? Basically came down to three parts that makes up the RD trades that I believe every single retail trader needs to do, know, and understand to be successful in the market. First is going to be psychology. Psychology is all dealing with you as a trader, what you have going on up here. Because your mental state, let's give you some eyes, boom. Your mental state in trading, it is truly basically that X factor that keeps people from even either being very profitable in the market or not making any money at all. Either increasing your trading balance or giving it all back to the market. It's your psychology. What do you believe? How do you handle losses? How do you handle wins? Do you revenge trade? Do you hesitate? All of this stuff deals with psychology. And if your psychology is not good in the market, you can just never succeed. That's just a cold, hard fact because your mind is going to always be your worst enemy, and it's going to always be doing things that's going to take more money off the table than what you're actually putting in to your account. So that's the importance of psychology. It's by far the most important thing when it comes to trading because without great psychology, uh, virtually making long-term profits in trading, it's just not possible. Next is going to be the truth about trading. So there's a lot of misconceptions out there about trading. People targeting 10% a month in trading, people trading more than 1% of their account size. There's so many fallacies out there of what successful trading looks like because of maybe things like social media, because of things like other accounts that you may watch on YouTube, whatever it may be, right? I'm not calling specific traders out. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm just saying that there's a lot of fallacies, there's a lot of misconceptions out there when it comes to trading. And if a lot of people follow these fallacies and they wonder why they're not successful in trading, well, look, it's very simple. I can point to you exactly why. I can point to you, the different points in the research or the papers or the videos that you watched that gave you just terrible information that you're following, right? So putting the right information, the right truth, exactly how very successful traders, Wall Street guys, however, how they trade in the markets. And last but not least is the system. So it's basically a three-part way to profitability. First is mastering your emotions, emotional discipline, mastering them, not over trading, all of that. You have to master this first. That's a non-negotiable. Then understanding the truth, the actual ways that the top traders are very successful in the market. When I say top, I mean top of the top 0.001%. Next is the last part, which is creating the system. And the system is basically your way of profitability in the long term. But without mastering psychology, without understanding the truth, you can't possibly create a system. And this system is always going to be something that helps you to flawlessly execute and consistently execute the market. In other words, it's actually going to take you out of the equation of trading as much as it possibly can. Because by nature, you're an emotional person. So while we're going to work to get your psychology as low as possible so that we can build this system, we have to understand that emotions are always going to be present. Because even if you try to lower your emotions in trading, you still have emotions in your personal life that's always going to draw back into trading. In other words, you're always going to be emotional to some level. That's why trading a strategy, it may work this month, it may work that month, it may work for the first 6 months out the year. But if your goal is to have consistent profitability, the way that the very, very top traders trade is you're almost never going to see them trading a strategy. They're always going to have some type of system in place that they trade. That's just the reality of it. That's how the top traders trade. That's how the very successful retail traders trade. Always remember the statistic that over 90% of retail traders that they fail in the market. That's a statistical fact. So if we know that not just the majority, but over 90% of people fail, then obviously we have to come to the conclusion that right now in the market, there's a whole lot of misconceptions. Right now in the market, there's a whole lot of people that haven't mastered psychology. So if we're watching the same videos everybody's watching and trying to trade the same strategies everybody's trading, and over 90% of people are failing, well, it doesn't make sense to continue that, does it? So let's start to reevaluate. Let's start to redo. Let's start to re-engineer the way that we're trading, the way that we see the market, the way that we're going about the market on a day-to-day basis, even where we get the information from. Because I want you to think about each and every single thing that you think is true about trading. Whether it's the strategy, that's the most important part, which I teach in my channel. Strategy is the least important part, but think about everything you think to be true. Now ask yourself if over 90% of people are failing, and I know that 90% are getting their information where I'm getting my information from, which is going to be mainly YouTube, mainly social media, wherever else, then ask yourself, what would make myself stand out considering we're all getting our information from the same place and trading the same way? And I'm saying that from personal experience. So that's what the RD Trades is. What the RD Trades not is a financial advisor. I am by no way a financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not your personal mentor. If I was, these videos absolutely would not be free whatsoever. So take the advice that I'm giving you. Do your own research with it. This is for entertainment purposes only. I'll never make you a promise of profitability. I'll never make you a promise that if you follow this, you're guaranteed to make X amount. All I can give you is exactly what the top people are doing. All I can give you is exactly what I've been able to teach other traders on a one-on-one session. So I would not give you something that I don't know works. But with that being said, I'll never promise you anything. But that's the RD Trades. The whole goal is to build this system. And once you build this system, you're truly on your way, potentially, to long-term success in the market, consistent success in the market, success that can look like month to month to month success, where you're no longer guessing in the market, but you're truly trading like the top people are in the markets. So look, if you want any help with building a system, if you have no idea what a system is, if you want my framework for building a system, or even my help with building a system, definitely check out the links to this channel because that's all that I'm about. Look, this is Already Trades. I wanted to give you a little bit about who we are, what we do, who we're not, and I'm out.